We have here a component that is going out to the server and fetching the data from the database and then rendering here in the front end, right? Now what we have here is additional use cases where we want to be able to delete or update or move things around in order, right? So let's take a look at one of the easier ones, deleting a widget, right? So let's see if we could do that. Right? So to do that, we have here in the delete. This is where it's handled, right? This is where it's handled, the delete, right? But the old implementation was to delete it from this static array. Again, we want to remove the static array. We don't want the donuts. I mean the widgets here, right? We don't want these widgets, right? Instead, we want to do everything for the server, right? Same thing with create. Same thing with create. When we click on create, we don't want just to push this array, this element into the array. Actually, we want to send this over to the server, right? Insert something in the server, and then come back with the new widgets, right? So let's take a look at maybe first creating a brand new widget, right? Let's do that. Let's see. Let's see how this works. Right now the rendering happens as follows, right? We have the add widget over here, which is going to call the add widget that is being passed to it from the container. So let's look at the container. Let's go to the container. And the container has the function right here. This is the add widget. See that? This is the add widget that is then dispatching it to the reducer. Yes? All right. So what we're going to do is that we're going to use the same exact methodology. We're going to do a fetch. We're going to send a post to the server and say, server, here's a new widget. Create this brand new widget. All right. The server is going to insert into the database, right, and it's going to come back with all the new widgets so that we can render it back again in the state. So let's do that. Let's copy this. Right. I'm going to say fetch, right, to the widget, same widget, but instead of a get, the default is a get, right? Instead, we're going to use the method. It's going to be a post. Right? It's going to be a post. We're going to need to turn on a couple of headers so that we can encode the data in a JSON format. So we're going to say content type. This is exactly what we did with jQuery, right? Way back when. Yes. So the same exact code. So content type. It's a application JSON. Yep. What else? In the body, we're going to need what? We're going to need JSON.stringify and the actual widget that we want to send. So how were we doing it before? Let's see. Create widget. What was create widget doing in the reducer? In the reducer, it was adding this new object. Yes. So let's grab that. And that's exactly what we're going to send to the server. We're going to send that to the server here. We're going to send that to the server as a post. Right? Send that to the server. The server should instantiate this brand new instance, save it into the server, and then send back. Ideally, what it would send back is all the brand new widgets. Right? So let's do that. It's going to come back the response, and we're going to notify the server notify the reducer that we just created a brand new widget, and all the widgets that are coming back from the server. All right, so we're going to do a dispatch, and we're going to send a create widget. Right, the create widgets is going to pass in all the widgets that come from the server, and in the reducer, the create widget. The only thing that the create widget is going to do is going to do the same exact thing that the find all widgets is doing, right? Because the widgets are coming from where? From the server, right? The server is maintaining the list of widgets, right? In the records, yes, right? We're not using this array anymore, okay? All right, so I think we're done on the client side. Let's head over to the server, right? So on the server side, the controller. Right? The controller, if you remember, we had created this post. Right? So this post that we're sending from the client, this post right here, All right, this post that we're sending, this localhost API widgets, is going to be handled on the server by this post. Yes? Right, it's handling that endpoint. And now the old thing that we were doing is adding it to this static array. We don't want to do that anymore, right? Instead, we want to save this or insert this widget into the database, right? So to do that, we're going to use the repository. We're going to use the repository. We're going to say, hey, repository, save my brand new widget. Now, since this is an instance object that is coming from, it was not in the database originally, this save is going to produce an insert. Okay, it's going to produce an insert. So this is going to insert into the database, and what we want to return, is what? Basically, all the new widgets, right? Including this brand new one that we just created, repository.find all widgets. We're going to return all the widgets. Yes? Yes. Oh yeah, no, actually, I'm sorry. We are. I forgot. Are we sending an ID? Yeah, we don't need the ID. Yeah, we shouldn't need the ID. Good catch. All right, excellent. So let's go back to the server. Let's restart the server and see if this blows up. Okay, let's go back to our client. Let's refresh. Okay, so I'm going to create a brand new widget, and let's look at the network traffic here. Let's look at the network. Let's clear this, and let's create a new widget. And it blew up. But let's see what happened here in the server. So the first thing that it sent out this widget clear request. Then it looks like it sent a second one. Right? Let's talk about this a little bit. So this, notice that it looks like it did the query twice. See that? That went out to the server. See that? Right? So this is the first one, right? This is because we turned on course. And because we turned on course, this first query out to the widgets is basically asking the server, hey server, this client wants to go get around the security. Is it okay? And the server is responding with I allow, get, put, post, delete. This is all the things I allow, right? So the browser says, oh, okay, you're allowing post. So then it goes down and does the second one. It does the actual post. See that? So this first query is often referred to as a pre-flight query, right? So it says, first I'm going to check with the server, is it okay? And the server responds, yes, it's okay, right? And then it's the actual query that goes out. Make sense? So we're sending, looks like we're sending the correct data, right? And the response from the server looks like the server was actually fine with what we came back. Indeed, notice that it looks like it was actually inserted, the new heading. If we go back to the database and we do a query, the actual database actually worked, right? So from the server's point of view, everything was okay, right? So something happened in our going back to the client. So let's try and look at what might have gone wrong. Type error, blah, 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 not a function. So it looks like it's not happy with the props widget. So at some point, probably these widgets somehow became null. So let's guard that map. Make sure that only render it if we have data. So let's go back to the component, and we can guard this so that if ever this becomes null, we want to ignore it, right? Only render it if we have an actual array of widgets, right? If it's not null, then render it. An easy way of doing it is to just prepend this. An easy way is to prepend this, right, and say and like that. So if this is truthy, meaning if it's not null, if it's not undefined, if it's not zero, if it's not false or empty string, if it's none of those, right, and it actually has a value, then evaluate the right-hand side, right? So I'm kind of like shortcutting. It's like a shortcut, right? I'm not going to allow the render the right-hand side unless the left-hand side is valid. So let's go back and okay. Notice that indeed the heading that we created earlier is there. Let's try and create another one, and we still don't work. Wait, what? A widget is not a function. Oh, a function. Map is not a function. Add widget, dispatch, create widget, widgets. Create widget. Did I misspell that somehow? I don't believe so. Fine, yada, yada, yada. So it's going here, widgets. Oh. Wait, widgets. Oh, wait, widgets has widgets inside? Okay, that's wrong. Yeah, this is wrong. Typo. There we go. That's what I meant. All right, so let's try it again. Let's create another one. Let's make this a little smaller. Add widgets. Notice that now it's creating all the widgets as it goes, right? It goes out. Now there's one caveat to this implementation. Actually it's very expensive, right? That I'm creating a single widget, right? It goes out and stores it, and it's fine. But on the server, I'm asking for all the widgets, right? That usually would be very expensive. I just added one thing. Why do I have to create and ask for all of them back, right? That's unnecessary. So typically, there would be a combination of some data being cached on the client, and I would only retrieve what I need from the server, this brand new widget that I just created, right? And then I would just append it to my cache on the client. This is a brute force approach where I'm asking, well, here's a brand new one. Give all of them to me, right? All the widgets. So there would be a combination of the two where you would cache something on the client, and some of the data would be on the server. Make sense? All right.